Hi, welcome to My Kitchen, Her Story, where we celebrate all things female leadership. We aim to inspire, empower, and educate. Today's guest, she's a medical doctor, a developer, and a multi-award-winning entrepreneur who is combining her passion for healthcare and technology to tackle systematic changes within MKHS. She's a co-founder and a CEO of Ivaro, a platform that enables brands to provide digital healthcare, making it easier for patients to get prescribed treatments without speaking to a doctor. Under her leadership, Ivaro has skyrocketed to support 350,000 patients, making vital medications easily accessible for conditions starting from asthma to birth control to menopause. Impressive, right? Wait until you hear her personal journey. Her story from all the way from Baghdad, Iraq, to the United Kingdom. A road filled with challenges, trials, and tribulations that made her think outside of the box and come up with creative solutions. I am very proud to introduce you the founder of Ivaro, Dr. Thuria Wenbar.
Hi, and hello. Hi. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being in my kitchen. I'm excited. What are we cooking today?
Okay, we are cooking my favorite comfort dish.
Okay.
Which is tabbouleh. Okay.
That's one of my favorite dishes too.
There is one catch though.
Okay.
We didn't have any pomegranates. I know.
We're not gonna do the hit pomegranate in the
We're not going to be kidding. No, we're not going to be spraying ourselves with pomegranate juice and actually getting very, very messy.
But I'll just leave it at that.
But we'll get very close there. And for the viewers, for the listeners, the one thing I would say is definitely go above and beyond, add a pomegranate.
Add a pomegranate. Don't be us. Add a pomegranate.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me what I need to be helping you with, and we get started while you tell me your story.
Okie dokie.
So I don't want to interrupt you in the middle of it. So I'm gonna be your sous chef.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do my best.
Yep.
My chopping skills are really not
That's fine. I'll do the
quite
chopping.
there. I'll do chopping.
Okay.
I need to.
I mean, the whole thing is like 5 minutes of chopping. Like we're done. It's comfort food. It's easy. I'm a
But
busy.
why did you choose this dish?
So I'm originally from Iraq.
Okay.
I'm from Baghdad, and we really like flavors and fresh fruit, vegetables, etc.
Right.
My mum made this when we were kids. It's my go-to when I need a 5-minute healthy meal.
Yeah.
Rather than your takeaways, your late night McDonald's, all those bits. So this is my super quick, healthy, I don't feel guilt afterwards snack.
Amazing. And you kind of like tie that to your memories with your mom as well, right?
Yes, very
when
much
you were
so.
growing up. Amazing.
Perfect.
Let's get started. We get chopping. Shall I do the parsley chopping?
Yes.
Okay.
Fine. Very fine.
Very fun.
Yes.
Okay.
There's two things I would say with the art of a good tabbouleh.
Yes.
One is the ratios.
Okay.
Okay, so my tabbouleh is usually, obviously today being an exception, 50% parsley, 50% pomegranate, which is 100%, and then everything else sprinkled on top.
Amazing. So while I'm getting started, you get started. Oh, just move out a little crap. You know what?
Salt. It's got sea salt in it.
Yes. We like cute things in this kitchen. Cool. I'll get started with that. You get started with your chopping, and please tell me, who are you?
Oh my goodness.
Tell me about you. How did you come to this country? I know part of this story, and every time you tell me, I get goosebumps and emotional. So, but I want everyone to know.
Okay.
Get started.
I hate this question. I really do.
Why? Tell me about that. Why do you hate that question?
I mean, I think part of it is not liking publicity. So this
You do realize that you're in front of three cameras, right?
I'm very aware. This is definitely a step outside my comfort zone.
Okay, we love personal growth.
To you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think PR has always been one of those things that is almost shied upon / taboo, especially within the healthcare industry, because then you've got customers and patients and the general public latching on to one thing, and I like to be liked. So the combination of the two don't go well together.
Oh well, this is a safe space.
This is a safe space.
And so if anyone has a problem with it, they can take it up with
safe space.
Me. By the way, do you want me to cut the stamps as well as the whole thing?
How do I turn this on?
So we have.
We're just gonna put it on the high heat because we just want it to boil as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't wait for it to boil?
No.
So tell me about your background. How did you get to this country? Where do you come from? What's happening?
So I may have hinted earlier that this is Middle Eastern food. I'm actually originally from Baghdad, Iraq. I came here actually as an immigrant, an asylum seeker with my family. So
when was that?
1999, 2000.
Okay.
Yeah, we left because of the war, or just kind of leading into the war in Iraq.
Yeah.
And my mother had this vision in her mind that the UK was going to be a great place for education. And so we traveled around lots of different countries. We went from Tunisia to Lebanon, Libya, Germany, and eventually landed in the UK with a lot of persistence.
Was that because it was just hard to get asylum in the UK and you had to go through these countries and then get kind of like approval for the next country and getting closer and closer to the UK?
We're going to be political and say yes, that's exactly what it was. We're going to be very politically correct.
And if we're not?
And if we're not, I think the technical rules, I may be mistaken, are that you're meant to claim asylum in the first country that you reach that is safe.
Right.
But my mother had it in her mind that the UK is where we're going to go, and she is a woman on a mission and she will get it done. She is like your solid alpha lady. She is my inspiration, my role model, and having that behind us has meant that as kids, you know, if mum was cooking, I mean, we were poor, right? So you're talking council houses, falling apart kitchens, those sort of things.
Yeah.
So she'd be cooking, she'd open the cupboard would fall apart. In the middle of stirring, she'd pull out a screwdriver, screw it back together, and go back to cooking. Like she's the boss.
She's the boss,
She's the
but
boss.
she's also a true sense of what a female is. So multifaceted, multitasking.
And you'll get shit done.
Yes.
Okay? Swearing's okay?
For sure.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay, cool.
It's our show, so we can say whatever. So, tell me, so you finally got into the UK.
Yep.
And then what happened?
Then we went through school, like most Middle Eastern kids. The only option for us, me and my siblings, was to go into healthcare, medicine.
Why?
Pharmacy. Both my parents are doctors. I guess that contributes to it, but also it's seen as respectable in the community.
Oh, okay. So it was just because it was a thing to do?
Yeah.
Did you have a passion for it though?
I liked human bodies. I liked science. I liked everything that healthcare had to potentially offer. So I went down that route.
Yeah.
I also really liked IT.
Yeah?
I was a coder. I was causing problems on Neopets back when I was 7 onwards.
Right.
But I couldn't take IT or computer studies at university because that would be shame. It'd be shame.
Oh, is that so? Okay, okay.
So I became a doctor and I loved every moment of studying.
Okay.
Apart from maybe the final exams. Like, don't wish that on anyone. Then I entered the real working world as a doctor.
Yeah.
Went down the emergency medicine route.
Yeah.
Loved interacting with the patients most of the time. Hated the inefficiencies.
So you became a doctor.
Yeah.
And then what happened? Do you want to take my knife? I think it's sharp. Did you spend time being a doctor? Tell me a little bit.
Technically, I'm still a practicing doctor. I've just done my revalidation exams. I passed those. Whoop, whoop.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I still intend to be a practicing doctor, just significantly less shifts than what I used to. So something like once a month, if that, at this moment in time.
Okay. Before I interrupt you, how long does this need?
Probably another 3-4 minutes. I won't burn.
So tell me, then what happened?
Then I had a boyfriend back then, and I would come home and I would complain to him, and I'd be like, oh, this inefficiency. There was this patient in A&E. All they needed was their asthma inhaler, but they had to wait 8 hours.
Yeah.
Yada yada. And Oscar got tired of listening to me complain, and so he said, "Why don't you do something about it?" Yeah.
Who is Oscar?
Husband.
Husband?
Co-founder.
Co-founder?
And partner in life and science and absolutely everything.
Oh,
yeah.
That's quite a bit of a declaration of a love right here. What did you do about it?
God.
Because I think I have a really interesting introduction for you as to what you do.
Do you want to go first?
You sell drugs.
I do. I'm a legal drug dealer. That's what I did about it.
I mean,
I'm holding a knife while I'm doing that. I'm a legal drug dealer.
Can we remove legal? It sounds more exciting.
I think for legal reasons.
Purposes.
Try to find a different word.
Fine. So tell me, what does that mean? What does a legal drug dealer do?
So we build technology that lets people access prescription medication over the internet without having to see their doctor. Efficiency.
Okay.
So the way it works is we partner with brands like Ann Summers.
Yeah.
People will go on that website. They will choose the medication they need. So in the case of Ann Summers, it might be testosterone gel for low libido or something for menopause, contraception, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
They will fill in a consultation about their health, and 2 minutes later they pay for the item. And then we do a whole bunch of programs in the back end. So we check that the person is real, that it's not James Bond ordering Viagra because that happens on a weekly basis. People don't want to use their real names. And we have to remind them that this is a legal process. So we actually need their real names.
I think it's fine.
It's probably done.
More done?
No, it's probably done.
Okay. Sorry.
No.
Back to Viagra.
Yep. So they've ordered their treatment. We validate that it's safe for them to have, and then we ship it out from our pharmacy.
Okay.
So we do the whole process. We do the technology, the regulation, the clinical checks, the actual fulfillment, and all the aftercare. Yeah.
But isn't that like a super regulated industry? How did you navigate through that?
Full credit to Oscar on that one.
Okay.
So Oscar by background.
Let's praise Oscar more now.
He's a good guy.
Okay, fine.
He's
We
an
love you,
exceptional
Oscar.
guy.
We love you. Sorry.
He's an exceptional guy.
Tell me.
Do you want to put that in there?
I just is it fine enough?
Yeah, it's perfect. You did a
Got
perfect
it
job.
right from the first time. Okay. So, how did you navigate through that?
So I was still doing my F1 year, so I was still in the hospital. I was doing emergency acute medicine. I then did an obstetrics and gynecology rotation. I did the coding on my days off, on the evenings, on the weekends, daytimes if I was doing night shifts. And Oscar did all the physical stuff. So he signed a contract for a 2,000 square foot warehouse, which I thought was insane. It's a 6-year lease. Do you know the average pharmacy is like a cubicle? Right? It's like a wardrobe.
Yeah, it's tiny.
It's tiny.
2,000 is
ginormous.
Large.
Huge.
Really big.
So when we signed the contract, I was like, what are we thinking? This is a 6-year contract. We are now busting at the seams. We're now moving into a 12,000 square foot pharmacy.
No, you're not. That's amazing. So do you store all the drugs there?
We store all the drugs and we have the entire processes for the actual fulfillment. So we've got the team members who pick, who dispense, the pharmacists who check, people who pack.
Right.
Yeah, so it's full blown out operation.
Okay, so you have like a mini Amazon going on there, huh?
Yeah.
Right, operations. Amazing. And how was just generally a process of even starting a business in this country? And actually, you know what I'm going to ask you?
Go ahead.
I mean, it's very relatable for so many people, but also very interesting. What's your surname now?
Wenbar.
But that's not your surname.
No. So I always thought the biggest obstruction I would have to starting a company was actually racism. And eventually I got married, and instead of accepting Oscar's surname, which was Wandowski, or staying with my own surname, Abdul-Jabbar, because I did experience racism with Abdul-Jabbar, I figured I was just going to make up a new one, like completely made up. I took the first 3 letters of Oscar's surname, W-E-N, the last 3 letters of my dad's surname, Abdul-Jabbar, Bar, and I made Wenbar. And now, Oscar's also changing his surname.
No, he's not!
Yeah.
Okay, we love that. Wait, why is he changing? Because he just loves this new surname?
I think it's more the whole 50-50, starting our own empire, that kind of thought process.
Okay. Oh, that's amazing. But also, you say you faced racism because obviously with that surname, you're not European or British or whatever else.
No.
You're clearly Middle Eastern.
With Abdul-Jabbar, yeah. I think especially if you're trying to start a business and your only interaction with someone is you're signing off an email, Dr. Abdul-Jabbar. Yeah. Right? Some people just don't respond, and I know that sounds really harsh and everyone thinks we're beyond it, we're not. People just don't respond. Whereas when I changed to Dr. Wenbar, I got a lot more uptake. I think now I'm ethnically passing, like I'm white passing. This is very taboo stuff to talk about. But
well, I mean that's what we're here for.
But at the end of the day, I needed the business to work. It was a barrier, and so I've overcome it.
Right.
Sadly, I can't be a man just yet, because that is unfortunately another barrier. But we found ways around that too.
And I would love to tap into that actually in a minute, but you changed your surname. to be more effective and, you know, live a better life in this country. But also you started your business in a highly regulated industry environment. And that it's not that that's not difficult enough. You also did it on a market where fundraising and starting the new venture, it's a nightmare. I work with companies day in and day out, and we talk about fundraising, we talk about markets, what's happening, how hard it is to get that funding and capital for your business. How was that fundraising journey for you?
So I think we have to start with just saying we were very privileged to actually find product market fit in the early days.
Okay.
So at the point of starting the company actually going live, bear in mind we had lots of challenges, lots of no's beforehand. When we finally went live with a private facing consumer healthcare brand, we actually had 9 sales on the first day and we needed 11 to break even.
Oh, wow. But was that like what, word of mouth, or how did people even?
I had absolutely no idea at that point because we didn't know marketing. Like, we did that classic mistake of paying an agency for marketing, not really understanding it, getting overcharged £5,000 for someone to just do keyword research. That prompted Oscar to leave his role as a pharmacist and become a marketer because actually we didn't like being conned. And my mum has a saying, which is like, you have 2 eyes, I have 2 eyes. You have 2 hands, I have 2 eyes. Anything you can do, I can do. I'm pretty sure it's actually he is the concept of that. Like the concept is like, he has 2 eyes, we're gonna go with you.
Yeah.
And we applied that. So someone else can do marketing. I have a brain, I have eyes, I've got hands, I can learn. I don't want to be conned. I don't want to spend £5,000 for something that isn't worth £5,000.
Right.
Yeah. And I think we were very good at being scrappy, right? At the end of the day, we were pouring our own savings, our own money into this. I was doing locum shifts in A&E. Oscar was doing locum shifts in the local pharmacy, and we were pouring all of our money into the company.
Right.
And we had to be efficient. And at that moment, what you have is time, right? So you can...
Or lack of.
Or lack of. Goodbye, sleep.
Yeah. That's amazing. And how was the whole journey? I mean, in terms of then scaling up and really securing that substantial capital for you to be able to grow and fly, because you guys are flying right now.
We're on our way. Yeah. We're doing well,
I mean,
thankfully.
You're sitting in a business, I would say. There's only... Then we upgrade you to first, and then we'll just do private.
Yes. So in terms of how it really happened, I think first of all, it comes through the decision. There is no trying, it's your doing. That's probably a really, really important factor. You've got people who are trying to raise. You're not trying to raise, you are raising, full stop, the end. You've got to have that mentality change.
Yeah.
Because we tried to raise and people could feel that. So when we were ready, we had all of our documentations ready. We had advisors coming out of our armpits. That's not really a phrase that translates to English, now that I'm saying it. So lots of advisors, and nobody was going to give us money. So we just had this massive list that I scraped off of deal rooms, Crunchbase, etc. And I hit everyone on LinkedIn and saying like, hi, my name's Thuria, I've got this amazing company, we're doing this amount of revenue, we've got this many customers, this is our traction, this is what we're doing. Would you like to hear more? So I was just literally going through my list, just every single day, becoming friends on LinkedIn, friends in quotation marks. And then one day I discovered that LinkedIn has a limit of 100 friend requests. It's probably not the right word, connection requests.
I actually hit that when I
Do we have
first. Yes, we do have a mixer. When I first actually was graduating and was like, wanted to connect with companies, etc., etc. They're like, oh, you hit the limit, you need to stop. Now they need to actually show that they know you and they can accept you and you're not a spammer.
Yes, so I hit that limit going through my list of like 200, maybe more VCs. Not VC individuals, the VC companies with everyone in their employee who are now supposedly my best friends on LinkedIn, clearly not.
Call them out. Call them out. They deserve it.
So I hit this limit, and instead of being like, oh, okay, I'll try again next week, I literally go to Oscar and be like, give me your computer. I need to get through my list. I'm on a mission. Yeah. Give me your... And what I found was absolutely shocking and almost like cry-worthy.
Go on.
Okay. So when I was connecting to people, Only about 30%, 33% would actually accept the friendship request.
And you're
I like math. I like numbers. I collect this data.
33%. You are counting.
I can give you the exact numbers, but we won't because it will be too sad.
Okay.
So I connected over 200, 300 people, 297, and from my account, about a third actually accepted the request. Mm-hmm. And then when they did accept it, they're like, okay, cool, send me the deck.
Right.
Okay. When I pretended to be Oscar, he had over 72% actually accept his friendship on LinkedIn. This is really not the wrong word. Like, it's meant to be connection, I'm sure.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
And they responded with, cool, we'll set up a meeting. They didn't want the deck. They were happy with the spiel. They're like, hey, I'm a white man. I've got a business idea. We're making money.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then I had the really awkward moment of trying to work out, where does Oscar fit into the meeting? Because Oscar's not a people person. Like, I've got enough energy.
So so wait a second. So you were an imposter. So you were like, I'm Oscar. Hey, sure, let's chat, let's meet.
Yeah.
Then they're like, great, we'll meet you at the pub, whatever.
Zoom, whatever, that kind of era.
And then you turn up, you just have to squeeze it, honey.
Okay.
Sure, squeeze it.
I don't have strength for this.
I have this strength. I'll squeeze
Okay,
it.
thank you.
Both of them for you. Put your hands in. I don't know. I defeated them, but I'm not sure. Yeah. So you are turning up.
Yep.
Not Oscar.
Yep.
How did that go down?
For the first few, it was very awkward because I did have him on them. And then eventually I realized it was just easier to say, I'm sorry, he's had another engagement. And
they were fine.
When I told them they were unimportant, they were fine. So I'm like, oh, I'm really sorry, Oscar's too busy. He's gone off somewhere else. You're not that important. Yeah.
They need to be
they
smacked down a little bit sometimes.
But no, the investors that we did get on board were amazing. They accepted meetings directly with me. That did end up being criteria for us, rather than just accepting any term sheet. Mm-hmm. We did have a specific, who do I want to work with?
Right.
I want to work with someone who respects me. Someone who accepts that it's a married couple running a business.
Yeah.
And that we are very different people. So Oscar's very much a numbers data person. He is not coming out doing the show and dance.
Yeah.
Whereas I will.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it worked. A huge credit and gratitude to both Cornerstone and Exceptional Ventures, who actually led our round.
Amazing.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Did you have any interesting encounters while raising, or any objections that you really had to work through?
I can give you the best quote I heard.
Oh my God.
Which, I'm not going to name names because it was definitely said by a junior in a company who didn't want me wasting my time, so it was said from a very good place.
We'll be a judge of that.
So the junior at this very established VC firm said, like, look, we really love what you're doing, but I'm not going to be able to take this any further because our general partners don't invest in women of childbearing age.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes, apparently I'm childbearing. Like, I'm above childbearing age. And
what?
Yeah, that was actually something that was directly said to me. And I'm very grateful for it because it means we didn't waste our time, because there was every kind of like, yeah, we're really interested in you. And I would have held out for that conversation and for that term sheet.
Right. I'm sorry. I'm still a little bit taken aback and
It's the world we live in, right? It's the world we live in. Unless
bias is still there. However, the world we also live in is the world where there is a lot of 50-50. Women power, we also work, we also give birth, we also raise those kids, we also do da-da-da-da-da. And then still we are shaming women?
I think until we have enough women leading IPOs, actually sitting at the top table, S&P 500, everything like that, you give money to the people that you look like, right? So if I ran a fund, I would give money to women who are strong-headed, willful, rebel children.
Yeah.
I'd say daddy issues in there.
Don't we all?
Because I know those women will fight, right?
Yeah.
But a man sitting at the table, he's looking at what's already come, what's come before, and the statistics, because the opportunity is always given to men, has been for men.
Yeah. Sure. And it's really refreshing to also see your perspective coming from such a gratitude rather than...
Oh yeah, what's the point of being angry, right?
We have a lot of that, and rightfully so. I think everyone is entitled for their own feelings and emotions and how they tackle it. Maybe in a minute.
Okay, we are done.
So yeah, so everyone is coming from different angle, and it's really interesting that you're coming from kind of learning, understanding, and almost like putting yourself in their shoes.
I think I am not able at this moment in time to actually change the status quo, right? Once I've done my IPO, I've got my 1.7 billion exit, I am running my own fund, I'm able to deal with whoever I want to, then I can change it. But right now, in the same way that I changed my name to avoid the racism issues, or I pretended to be Oscar to avoid the sexism issues, I'm just going to go with the flow to make the business successful, right? It sounds, I'm sure there are problems with the approach I'm taking, but I have a goal, and my goal is to impact healthcare.
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen if I sit there crying and like talk about the injustice of it.
Yeah.
So my only option is to power forward.
Amazing. So what are, because you guys had a very effective fundraising.
We did.
Right.
When we were doing, not when we were trying. I'd like to emphasize that.
Right. But that's my question. Because there are a lot of, not just females, males, it doesn't matter, right? Out there raising capital to, launch companies of their dreams and, pursue their passion and all of that. Are there a couple of tips and tricks, ropes that you would say, you know what, before you embark on that journey, make sure you have X, Y, and Z straight?
I think, yes, there's lots of things that you can get done in advance, but the reality is if there is that kind of vibe click, they don't care about your presentation, you're not going to have to do it. They don't care about all the processes and paperwork that you have to have. If they like you full stop, the end. Right? You can actually pitch off of a single line and a meeting that's 30 minutes and very casual and a bit scattered, rather than going through a process. So whatever everyone tells you to do, have it there, because someone's going to ask for it. But really push for you as a personality, especially in the stage that we're in, where it's seed, pre-seed. They're investing in you as a human being.
Right.
So,
and you know what? Interesting, because I always have that approach in terms of, when looking at businesses, right? And everyone has a deck.
Yeah.
Right? And that's, I guess, like just a checkbox. For me, it's more of a checkbox, like a quick, it could have been an email. As they say, right? For me, I don't care like what your branding looks like. Idea, addressable market, who is delivering it, and then who is delivering it.
Yeah, exactly.
Is my biggest kind of question mark, and where I need to be sold and convinced. And founder, you can have the most amazing ideas, but if I don't believe that you can take this idea and fly with it, the rest doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
So you are also kind of from that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what we found from the people who actually entered the round or offered term sheets. They liked us. The idea was great. The idea was making money, it was having traction, etc. But the thing that they were really investing in was us, and we could feel it.
Right.
Yeah. So that's probably my biggest thing, is come in with your full energy. The other thing that I would give as advice, which is a mistake I made, and I'd recommend people don't make it, is on your second or third or fourth meeting, when they invite other people in, to your partners, your senior members, someone who's an industry expert, do not expect them to have spent any time looking at your deck. Treat it as a brand new meeting. Okay.
So I know nothing.
You know nothing. I'm going to give, I don't care if there's 3 people on that meeting who have already heard me pitch the 30-second one line and really show the passion.
Yeah.
I'm coming at it again. My biggest mistake was treating those early second, third conversations as if they have a system in the back end where they brief each other. No, they don't. They don't have time. They don't care about you. They've had 100 meetings that week.
Right.
You need to start from scratch. And that's probably where we lost some of our very interesting, I was very excited for venture capital funds, because I figured that they had processes in the background.
Yeah. What's interesting is the power dynamic and how founders treat investors in a very different way. They put them on a pedestal, they elevate them, but they also almost treat them like they're different kind of species. Because you are an investor, this person with the money that can make my dreams come true. Therefore, you must be organized, you must be doing all these things, you must be prepared in a meeting, you will never ghost me. The ghosting is like the whole different issue
The ghosting,
with fundraising.
the turning up drunk or hungover at a meeting. Yeah,
Right?
They're human.
But that's the thing, right? We're forgetting that they're also human.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily their money either. You're not pitching angels. They have a business to run. They've got their own objectives.
Yeah.
And it could be, especially at that lower tier, it could be just some kid that's come out of university who's the gatekeeper.
Right.
Yeah, they're just human.
Well, but that's also, I think, like that's an important thing to bear in mind is know who you're speaking to.
Yeah.
Right? Are there influencers? There are needle movers. There are decision makers. What is their process then when you're speaking to these people, right? And what kind of size and timescales we're talking about, right? And a lot of that is running your fundraising as a sales process, because it is a sales process.
It is a sales process. It is definitely, and having that spreadsheet or HubSpot or whatever software you're using in the background to keep track of things is vital.
Yeah.
Absolutely vital.
But I think the most important part for me is always setting correct power dynamic. And not coming at it from the perspective of lack and I need you or your money and I'm here to beg you for it or ask you for it.
I think we were very, very privileged in that part because the business had been generating revenue for quite a while.
Right.
We had the option for debt and we made that very evident to our investors, saying we have the option for debt. I personally grew up in an environment where we were very, very poor. I don't know how to use debt. I'm sure, now we have a CFO. He's going to very much help with that part of the business. But I wouldn't have been comfortable. I would have taken £1 million in the bank and I would have spent it that month and made sure it was back in the month, exactly untouched at the end of the month.
Yeah.
For fear of I don't know what.
Yeah. We don't like, in our culture, I feel like we don't like owing.
We don't like owing, no.
Yeah.
We're very good at giving, giving food, giving advice, giving time, very happy to give.
Yeah.
But debt is something that, it was there, we had the offer, I was never going to take it, but it was very useful to tell the investors, like, hey, we have this option for VC funding, for bank, traditional finance. We don't want it because of X, Y, Z. My next round is going to be this amount. I can't get the next round without having proven that we can handle the small process, because going out as a first-time founder, husband and wife team, saying, hey, give me X amount of millions, they'd be like, I'm sorry, who are you?
Yeah.
Why should we trust you? But now we have that kind of
that
proof
track record, you build that rapport. Yeah,
exactly. So that for us was a nice way to kind of hold back the power and say, we've got this option, would you like to join the journey instead of us going for this option? And I appreciate that comes from a very big area of privilege, because not most companies wouldn't be in that position.
Yeah, but also you don't I don't want the viewers to think that you need to be already revenue generating to be in that, to level out that playing field and power dynamic, because a lot of companies, they raise from an idea on the paper, not even on the paper, and they still do it.
Yeah.
Now, what is the split between, like the gender split there? It's massive.
I think also not just the gender split, I think that has to have a lot with how many successful exits that founders potentially had beforehand as well. So if you are the founder of WeWork and you've done, you've taken your business
you
to
have
400,
a track record. Yeah. No, definitely. But when I say the gender, and I actually don't mean it as to point it out that, one is doing better than the other, but actually we have a hell of a lot more male founders than female ones. But also out of the whole raised capital, less than 2% is going to female-funded businesses.
Yes, and a significantly higher proportion is going to teams with women in it.
Right.
So the stats that are always quoted are female only.
Right.
Which is really interesting to see that they are putting more women in.
Right.
So they're giving more money to women, but they're putting it into teams that have women in them alongside male.
It's the whole category on its own, actually, these days. Actually, organizations have targets, which is a great thing, to have female-only founded businesses in their portfolio, investment portfolio. But also, I did this like a focus group with male founders and female founders. And imagine you are a founder of a biotech company, and I'm an investor. What are you going to do? How are you going to raise money? So female founders mind when immediately, well, but I don't have experience here. I need to educate myself on this, this, and that before I go and ask for somebody else's money.
Yeah.
Because we are caring and nurturing, and we want to make sure that we don't waste it, but we also put it to good use, and we have that, and that's our superpower.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Right? Guess a response from male founders.
They did that, is it Dunning-Kruger curve? So they knew nothing, so they assumed they knew everything. They're like, yeah, this is what we're gonna do, this is how we're gonna do it, da 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 da.
Yeah, no fun.
Yeah.
One of them was like, well, I'm just gonna Google it.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, now they'll probably say, like, I'm going to chat GPT or I'm going to Claude it from Anthropic.
One of them, YouTube, Google, whatever, right? And he was like, whatever, I'll fake it until I make it. And I was like, you know what? I mean, great. I don't want you to be my doctor, but great.
Fair, fair.
You know, like a higher risk appetite, and I think that's something that I'm learning personally as well daily, to kind of just go for it.
Yeah.
And we'll see how we go.
I think that's a hugely important part and shift that a lot of female founders do end up making.
Yeah.
And I think you see it in female founder groups where you've got the entry pre-seed, or even people who are running cottage industries who are very much along the lines of, do I have the skill set? What do I have to learn, etc. And then you move further along to ladies who are running Series A onwards companies, and they are owning some of that arrogance.
Right.
They're just kind of consuming.
They're unapologetic.
They're unapologetic.
Right. And I love that word.
They get labeled with other words too.
I mean, whatever.
But you accept it, right? In that moment, in that time, you've got a mission, you've got a direction that you're going to, and other people just have to deal with it.
Totally. Now, my question is, can we try this dish? Because I'm really want to dig into it.
Yes, I'm starving.
Do we need more lemon, or
no, I think it's probably fine.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't actually tried it. It might be awful. It might actually be awful.
Well, it can't be. It literally has delicious ingredients. So how can it be awful?
That's true. It's missing that pop of red.
Well, whose fault is that?
That's completely and utterly my fault.
I did text her yesterday. I was like, let me know. What ingredients do you need?
And I said, nah, it's okay, I got it.
She was like, I'm very particular with my pomegranate.
And then I went to the store and they had no pomegranates. Yeah. It's the first time that's happened.
Oh, yeah? You could have texted me on the way. We would have popped out, got some pomegranate.
I figured you were going to have a full day.
We are having a full day.
Yeah, so I didn't want to disturb you.
That's fine. I appreciate your thought. Okay, so shall we? Cheers. First days, best days. Delish.
Very good.
I want more lemon though.
Put more lemon in.
I like it quite
Tangy.
acidic.
Yeah, have more lemon.
I think I'm gonna go more lemon. But
If you have more lemon, you should put more salt to balance it out.
yep. I do have more. So the last part I wanted to ask you about is, how do you manage it? Personal, work. Oscar, he's amazing. We all know that now. Oscar, you're welcome. Free PR. I love you. How do you manage it? And do you fight?
No.
Never.
I think we've had one argument in the last 10 years.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Okay, we are switching. We're not talking about your business. I don't care about your e-pharmacy. We are talking about relationship advice. Please talk to me.
Okay, so
What is happening here?
I think there is a moment to say credit to Oscar for being the person that he is. I'm an incredibly volatile individual. I grew up with a Middle Eastern background, right? You yell, you shout, you throw plates.
Yeah.
Oscar is significantly calmer.
Right.
He's very, what's the word I'm thinking? Unsatisfying in a fight. He doesn't get angry back.
You are so unsatisfying in a fight. That's a first.
I know.
I know though. It's like when you're like, Give me the reaction!
Right.
And he's just like chilling.
He's just like,
Get back to me when you calm down.
Yeah, well, I'm going to wait for you to kind of come back into that adult mode. Very transactional analysis. So yeah, I think we have the privilege of having been dating for ages, running a business, and then getting married. So we know each other quite well. I met Oscar when I was 18.
Yeah.
I'm now 29. So it's all your formative years.
Right.
And I know that if I want something or I need something, I kind of have to communicate it just in something that he'd understand.
Right.
So I know his communication style, and it is numbers, it is spreadsheets, it is PowerPoint presentations.
Right.
So if we're buying a new fridge, we'll go and look at all the details for it. If we're making changes in the business, it is the same sort of process.
Right.
The one time that we've had an argument, it was work from home at the start of COVID.
Okay. Now, is that the one you're referring to, like in the last 10 years kind of argument?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
So we were struggling to hire people during COVID because we were an in-person company, because we were doing warehouse medication fulfillment.
Right.
So everyone's expecting to work from home, furlough, everyone's living the life, and we want people self-pay.
It's really uncomfortable.
Ding, ding, ding.
Anyway. Yes.
Yeah, so we were really struggling to hire customer service support members. And he wanted to suggest working from home, and I didn't have the capacity to sort all of that out, to work out the IP restrictions, the safety, the laptops, blah, blah, blah. And in the end, that argument was won by saying, it matters to me more. Like, you want this, but I want it more.
Right.
And therefore, I'm going to win this argument. So that's the only time I pulled that card out. I'm sure I will now use that card more often.
I love that.
Like, it's more important
to me. The key to a happy marriage is picking your battle and what's important to you.
And I think the same thing with running a business, because you're going to have potentially multiple co-founders, all with their own areas of domain expertise. In my case, it was going to be the setup of those work from home employees. It wasn't Oscar who was going to set them up. I was going to have to deal with and learn how to make sure everything was compliant from a security perspective. And I didn't have the capacity to do that. I didn't have the capacity to do it. We didn't have the funds to outsource it back then because we were still bootstrapping. So it was just, it matters to me more. It's going to impact me more. I win. Yeah, and I think with founders who
really understand what their language is.
Yeah. Having that analytics table saying, this is what's going to happen if we do this.
Right.
These are the amount of hours or problems we're going to experience in a PowerPoint presentation.
Right. Hey, I always say that even to my friends, right? That when it comes to relationships, and people like to ask, like, what's your love language? But it's relevant, right? For me, I mean, as a Georgian person, we love love, and like we are emotional and passionate and explosive and crazy. And all those.
That's why we get along so well.
But it is important. I mean, mine goes across all of them. I mean, when I love you, and I'll give you my time and touch and whatever else, gifts and everything. I have a little gift for you too.
Oh.
But for some, they're stronger in one category than others, and so it's really important. I always tell them, come from a perspective of how will that person understand you speaking to them if you're not speaking their language.
Absolutely.
So I think that's the same in partnership, in business, and personal.
Yeah, I think a lot of people bigger companies draw on the personality test, the archetypes, the people who are emotional, the people who are analytical, the people who are logisticians or extroverts, introverts, depending on which test you end up doing. And there is value to that.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much. We're going to get going and keep snacking on this, but before we finish up our episode,
oh God,
I just wanted to give you a little something to say thank you for spending your afternoon with me.
Thank you so much.
Let me grab those flowers. Let's go. Okay.
Flowers. I really like planted flowers.
Ta-da! I present you
beautiful.
a bouquet of beautiful roses.
They are beautiful.
Yes.
They are stunning. Thank you. Thank you.
Yay. They're right now.
Yeah, they're wonderful.
They didn't send me one. I need one too.
Would you like this one?
No. Okay. That's yours.
Thank you. Oh, I can't even hug you.